So, you want to play a healer in Pathfinder 2e. Well, there are two different ways you can do that. So, in today's video, I'm going to go over how each of them work and their benefits and drawbacks. My name is Drew, this is Team Player Gaming, and let's get started. I'm going to start by explaining magical healing. There are three main spells that people use to heal in Pathfinder 2e. The heal spell, Soothe, and Lay on Hands. Let's start with the big one with the heal spell. The heal spell is available to divine and primal casters, and it can be cast at anywhere from 1st rank to 10th rank. It's also one of those spells you can spend anywhere from 1 action to 3 actions on. And of course you can use this spell to damage undead as well. If you spend 1 action on the spell, then the spell has a range of touch and heals 1d8 damage per spell rank to a living creature, or deals the same amount to an undead with a basic fortitude save. If you spend 2 of your 3 actions on the spell, then the spell has a range of 30 feet and heals 8 more hit points per spell rank to living creatures. This, however, does not deal more damage to undead. However, the 3-action version targets a 30-foot emanation. This heals all living creatures in the area and damages all undead in the area. This does the same amount of healing and damage as the 1-action version of this spell. So it's still 1d8 per spell rank, but it targets a bunch of creatures rather than just one. This is the spell that most people are going to use to heal the party. Next we have the Soothe spell. This one is only available to occult casters. It takes 2 actions to cast and has a range of 30 feet. You heal a willing target for 1d10 plus 4 hit points per spell rank. In addition, the target of this spell receives a +2 bonus on saving throws against mental effects for the next minute. This one isn't as versatile as the heal spell, but it does have some benefits over it. For example, you can use this spell to heal an undead creature. It also can heal more hit points than the 2-action version of heal. And the +2 bonus on saves against mental effects is going to help a lot against enemies that want to frighten the party. But, unlike the heal spell, you can only target 1 creature with this spell at a time. Both of these spells, however, are limited by spell slots, so keep that in mind. And finally, we have the Lay on Hands Focus spell. This focus spell is only available to Redeemer, Liberator, and Paladin Champion. This 1-action touch spell can target a willing living creature or an undead creature. If the target is a willing living creature, then you heal 6 hit points per spell rank to the target. If the target is one of your allies, they also gain a +2 status bonus to AC for 1 round. Against an undead target, it deals the same amount of damage with a basic fortitude save. And if it fails, it also takes a -2 status penalty to AC for 1 round. All the champions I mentioned earlier get this spell immediately upon character creation. This spell is really good for spot healing, especially during combat, since you don't have to roll for the healing, and it gives a +2 bonus to AC. Now, let's talk about non-magical healing. Unlike magical healing, non-magical healing is available to everyone who is trained in the medicine skill, and it revolves around the Treat Wounds action. Treating Wounds requires a Heals toolkit unless you have access to the Healing Plaster Primal spell. This does not mean you have to be the primal caster, though. Anyone can use the mud created from that spell for this activity. Treating Wounds takes 10 minutes to do, and you can target yourself or another living creature. The target is then temporarily immune to Treat Wounds for 1 hour, but the time you spent treating overlaps with this. In other words, it's 60 minutes from the time you start treating wounds, rather than at the end of it. The starting DC is usually 15, but the GM can adjust it based on the situation you're in. For example, treating a cursed wound or doing it outside in the storm. This activity also removes the wounded condition from the target if you succeed or critically succeed. If you critically succeed, you heal 4d8 hit points. If you succeed, you heal 2d8 hit points. But if you critically fail, you deal 1d8 hit points to the target. And of course, if you fail, you don't heal anything. If you're an expert in medicine, then you can increase the DC to 20 to add 10 hit points to the healing. If you're a master, you can increase the DC to 30 to add 30 hit points to the healing. And if you're legendary in medicine, then you can increase the DC to 40 to increase the healing by 50. None of these change the damage dealt on a critical failure. If you succeed on your medicine check, then you can continue healing for a total of 1 hour to double the amount of hit points regained. But remember, you do have to be trained in medicine to use Treat Wounds. This is how base Treat Wounds works. However, there are skill feats you can take to do more with the Treat Wounds activity. Battle Medicine allows you to heal a target during combat. However, this does not remove the wounded condition like the Treat Wounds activity. In addition, once you use this on a target, they are immune for 1 full day. However, this does not make them immune to nor count as the Treat Wounds activity. This otherwise works as Treat Wounds. This one requires training in medicine. Next we have one of, if not the best medicine skill feats in the game, Continual Recovery. When you use Treat Wounds, the patient only becomes immune for 10 minutes rather than 1 hour, which effectively means as long as you have the time, you can keep doing Treat Wounds until everybody is at full health, as the 10 minutes counts the 10 minutes that it takes for you to do Treat Wounds. However, you do have to be an expert in medicine to take this feat. So most characters won't be able to pick this feat up until level 4. There's also the Ward Medic feat, which also requires expert in medicine. If you're treating wounds or treating disease, you can treat 2 patients at once. If you're a master in medicine, you can treat 4 targets at once. And if you're legendary, you can treat 8 targets at once. Most people are probably only going to need the master version of this feat so they can heal the entire party at once. But you're still going to want to be legendary in medicine so you can heal more. And finally, we have a new one for the remaster called Unusual Treatments. This is another one that requires expert in medicine. If you succeed at a DC 20 check to treat wounds, you can also reduce one of the following conditions by 1. Clumsy, enfeebled, or stupefied. If you can treat more than 1 creature at once, you choose 1 creature to be affected by this feat. Also, a creature can only benefit from this feat once per day. If the condition is caused by an affliction, that affliction isn't cured, but the condition is reduced by 1 for as long as that affliction is at that stage. If you're a master in medicine, you can add Drained to this list if you succeed on a DC 30 check. If you're legendary in medicine, you reduce the chosen condition by 2 instead of 1. These are some good conditions to remove with Treat Wounds. However, this feat cannot remove the most debilitating debuffs in this system: Slowed, Frightened, and Sickened. There are other medicine skill feats that can get rid of those actions, but those go off of other medicine skill activities, and I will not be covering that in this video. But if you guys want me to, I can cover the other medicine skill activities in another video. So which one of those should you use? Well, ultimately, it'll depend on which one you like better and the situation. Magical healing is good for early game when Treat Wounds isn't as reliable, and for when you don't have 10 minutes to spare, such as during combat. But remember, you need access to those spells in order to do magical healing. In other words, you need to be a primal, occult, or divine caster, or a certain type of champion. If you're not one of those, but you want to heal, then get some training in that medicine skill. Once you become an expert in medicine and can take continual recovery, that's when non-magical healing becomes better if you have the time. You can just heal everybody up, especially if you have Ward Medic too. However, classes other than rogues won't be able to take either of these feats until level 4. And of course, you can use battle medicine to treat wounds during combats, but only once per day per target unless you take the medic archetype, which I may be covering soon, as I did ask you guys on my community page, and that's the one that's winning so far. But it would really help me out if you guys would go to the community page and vote on my polls if you haven't already. But if you guys want to use magical healing in your game and want a build for that, you can check out this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.